In 2016, the City Council for the first time decided to go outside the city department and decided to hire a chief, and we all know how that turned out. You can imagine how I felt when the City Council again once decided to go outside and hire another chief. I was once again conflicted with confusion, distrust, and anger with the council. This is because I believe that we had good captains and good employees in our department, which we could promote from the inside. It was at this point I spoke to my family, voiced my concerns and intentions of leaving the city. My family convinced me to stay, and in 2018, the council, which included Mayor Debbie Stone, decided to hire Goodman. Once I met Chief Goodman, I could tell he had the natural leadership quality, which I knew our officers and I would adhere to. Within a matter of months, he took the department's morale and raised it to levels that I had never seen before. His leadership was both the police officers and police management association. Because of this trust, we would all agree that things needed to change in order to provide better service to all our citizens. Working together, all association members would agree to an adjustment in our work schedule, which affected our personal lives, in order that we can make a positive impact in the community. Because of this collaboration, Chief Goodman was able to create special teams which could focus on quality of life issues within our community. Chief Goodman has had such an impact on me and our department that I decided I wanted to stay with the city and finish out my career. As we enter a new decade, we see the world changing around us. Our youth is using the form of demonstrations to get their point across as they ask for change. The one thing I have noticed since I have been employed with the city is the constant use of what I call quote-unquote old school politics for personal vendettas. If the world is changing around us at this time, wouldn't it be nice to see Upland change and stop using politics in this fashion? Until we have a reason to believe otherwise. Thank you.
Stone sucks! Rudy's a gang member!
Amen. My name is Kate Rosberg. I've been a resident here in Upland for 15 years.
Go Knights baseball!
This is a sellout. I've had very good interactions with him. With regard to the anti-black racism that's been happening in police departments across the U.S., I contacted him. He's been proactively working to train officers in de-escalation. That was very evident during the protests. The police force here in Upland did a great job of interacting with protesting. Yeah! The police were respectful. They gave us a chance to take I'm on the older side. Some of the younger protesters don't necessarily know how to disengage, especially when somebody already got and the police did a good job of giving us time to help these younger protesters disengage so that these peaceful protests continue to be peaceful and ended peacefully. This is the kind of leadership that we're looking for, especially during this time. Somebody who is ready to do good reforms that work for the community and for the police. It's very clear from what I'm hearing that Goodman is respected by his force, and that's rare to find somebody who can work with both the community and the police force. And so I have him in the highest regard. The letter that I received is the letter from the lawyer is very unsettling, and I hope that Upland will deal transparently with its issues. We've had problems in the past, and we've got a good FBI investigation in the past. I hope that everything is done transparently, and it is important that we support Chief Goodman, as Black Lives Matter.
It is Marcos Rivas and Jeff Stewart. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Lauren Logan. I've been here in this department for 30 years. So I've seen a lot of changes take place. Since Chief Goodman came in about 2.5 years ago, I've seen the most change. For the positive. I've seen crime has gone down. The morale amongst the police department has shadowed. Our response times have gone way down. And I'm just here, I had to speak up. He's the best thing that's happening up in a very hard time. We need to hear him. He's a good man. After Marcos Rivas is Jeff Stewart.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marcos Rivas. I grew up in Upland. I was on the police corps. I graduated from high successful, and the United States Army military police veteran. I am speaking today, like everyone else, about the deplorable, disgusting conduct of Debbie, Rosemary, and Marty. Who act with your support and blessings. I would address you all by your official title, but you don't deserve that respect due to your actions. I want to deserve that respect for others. First, let me say, thank you, Chief Goodman, for your service and dedication. You are a role model for myself and so many others, and having you in the Thin Blue Line family only makes us better. We stand by you, sir. I never had the honor of meeting you, but I see your work, and the officers who mentored me speak highly of you. You are a blessing to the department and the city. When I was away serving my country, I knew a great department with a great leader was protecting them 24/7. Thank you. To the terrible city leadership, how dare you undermine our law enforcement? How dare you attempt to bully our chief into being your political puppet? How dare you target him for not bending at your will? How dare you attempt to order investigations on those who don't agree with your politics? The legal actions will not go unanswered. His job is to protect and serve the community, something you forgot. Not help you stay in power and bend to your will. How do you justify your actions? Do you even really believe you are acting in the best interest of the city? This chief of police has done so much for the department and the community. The actions you have taken or currently taking put my family's safety at risk. You are hindering our law enforcement. I am ashamed for you. The city government continues to play with your thumbs and be useless. The incompetence and corruption only give this city a bad name. You allow former gang members to the city council to target our first on April 11, 2016, as a high school student, I called you out today for not supporting police and demanding the community. You nodded and sat there looking me in the eyes. Here we are in 2020, and you clearly didn't hear a word I said, or you simply didn't care. I left my hometown and my family to serve my country for democracy and freedom, only to come back to power-hungry, disgusting, incompetent people. You give up with a bad name.
Amen. Daddy Stone!
From a disgruntled employee who couldn't meet the standard and trying to get rid of our chief of police because of politics, not because of his ability. You lack the evidence, and you already broke the law with your mishandling of the situation. We will not remain silent. And if you had any decency, you, Debbie, your city manager, and Tubanel would resign now and leave the city alone.
Stone on lockdown!
You may have had a long career,
Get out
great service,
of here!
but you will not do anything compared to these officers and our chief of police. They did more in one day for this community and this nation than you will do in your entire lifetime and career. Thank you.
It's Shannon Moss, followed by Gary Hester.
My name's Jeff Stewart. I'm a 47-year-old, actually older than that. I've lived in Upland for the past 47 years. I've been here pretty much my whole life. And you know, I don't have anything written now. I'm kind of speaking from the heart right now. And all I'm asking is, it just seems like for years, the city, how tough is it? How tough is it to just run a city, right?
That's right.
Drop the politics.
Amen.
And do your job and let the chief do his job.
That's right.
That's really all I have to say. You know, so, Upland's a great place. It's a great place to grow up. It's a great place to live. Everyone outside, everyone sitting here, we all love Upland.
We hate Debbie!
Science. It's not worth, let's fix it. Let's just make it cool. Let's just fix the issues. Have a good day.
Amen.
Shannon Moss is Gary Hester, followed by Dale Marie Horton Preston.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to speak. We gathered here today as a community to support our Chief of Police, Darren Goodman. Ever since Chief Goodman came to Upland and brought with him his leadership and experience, our community has experienced a better quality of life. Our chief has transformed our community like no other police chief before him. Chief Goodman understands our community's strengths and its weaknesses, and confronts our community's challenge head-on with his no-nonsense, open communication, no cronyism approach. We support our chief because he brings us together for the betterment of the community. For too many years, our city leaders, mayors, and city managers have failed to provide Upland with the effective and efficient leadership. Ironically, the exact type of leadership that our police chief brings to our city. Chief Goodman brings that leadership to Upland.
He's the first chief
is offered for violation and really the 19 I'm sorry.
Last week!
This is such an injustice. It's just irritates me and makes me mad beyond reproach. The second is, it's well known that the chief has been courted by other venues, departments. Much closer to home for more money, and in part because he's made a commitment to our city to help right it. He's passed up on that. I think the chief is well liked in the community. He has 30 years of distinguished service. He is well spoken. He has a plan for our police department and puts his all in making that happen. And I'm truly disappointed that this council appears to be rushing to judgment on a complaint that appears to be in direct contradiction to his reputation for over 30-year period. That's just not right.
Family report contestant is Jay Sharp, followed by Mike Cass.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Thank you for allowing us to speak today. My name is Gail President, and I have had the honor of serving both as a planning commissioner and a city councilwoman for the city of Upland. And therefore, I appreciate your challenging role in complex decision-making. For the past 25 years, I've been the president of the Upland Police Foundation. I worked with 7 different police chiefs, their administrative staff, and the officers of the department. In addition, during those years, earning my doctorate degree in public administration, we studied many successful leadership traits and their impact on communities and organizations. For these reasons, I felt compelled to speak to you today. There is no doubt in my mind that Chief Goodman is a strong leader with a deep loyalty to serving this community. Statistical proof includes that going back to 2015, the foundation averaged $47,375 annually in donations. After his first year and a half as chief, citizens donated a record $151,000 in 2019, $151,000. We have already received $33,000 in mid-year of 2020 in a COVID year with only one mailing. As I've spoken with so many of these donors over the past 2 years to thank them personally for their donations and answer questions, they have categorically indicated their support for Chief Goodman in our conversations, and they've indicated that they really like the direction of the Upland Police Department. Chief Goodman personally interacts with citizens as he both calls and he writes letters to thank them and answer any questions about the department or the services. The donors, your citizens, may be silent in these public meetings today, but they speak volumes with their vote of support through record-level donations. In addition to citizen support, I have interacted with men and women who are officers in the department. I have heard so many positive comments for Chief Goodman's leadership and dedication among many of the comments of the officers. Thus, I have observed firsthand the markers of Chief Goodman to include dedication, determination, and clear direction for the department. His observable behaviors have been with the citizens encompassing loyalty and compassion for the community's safety. I appreciate your consideration of this input, as you may not have had the opportunity of hearing the silent but very strong support from the Foundation's donations. I implore you to give additional time for broader research and input for your decision today. Thank you for your time.
Next is Jay Sharp, followed by Mike Pattison, and then Stephanie Guida.
Stone Sox!
Hello, my name is Jay Sharp, resident of Upland. Hello, Councilman Velto, Councilwoman Elliott. I will say, as you all are very well aware, that Chief Goodman is the best thing the city has seen. He's way more educated than every single one of you sitting up there, especially Zuniga, Stone, the attorney, Rosemary. I'm tired of watching the city council meetings, seeing you stumble, seeing you not know what's going on. Chief Goodman can run this city and be the police chief. So far as I'm concerned, all of you suck, besides Elliott and Belto, and I will do everything in my power to make sure you are not reelected. Thank you.
Just quit now, you suck!
Followed by Justin Cazzo.
Stone gotta go!
Eyes up,
Still
Debbie.
sucks!
Right up.
Stone still sucks!
No way. There we go. Jay, that was spot on. Darren Goodman running the city and police chief. I think that's a great idea. Waiting on Debbie. Eyes up. There we go. It's really good to be here. It's really good to see the community out here showing the support for Darren Goodman. It's like I've always said, it's been a beacon of hope to see actually a true leader in the city. In the end, it really comes down to Marty Thubenall not having any power, and that's why he's so upset. And you got Debbie, who is essentially his puppet, and because Thubenall can't control the police department, Debbie's doing everything she can to keep Darren out of his position. In short, like Jay said, we're gonna do everything we can to keep certain people out of office. We always have, we'll keep pushing. Wish you guys the best of luck. The community's not gonna give up. You guys do the right things. You know what that would be. Do not get rid of Darren. He's a dear friend, good leader, good boss. There's certain people in the department that have been nothing but trouble, and you guys need to make sure you explore your options before you make an executive decision. Thank you.
After Stephanie Guida.
Hey, Rosemary, you're gonna quit yet?
Followed by Gia Diane Smyers.
Be respectful, Debbie Stone.
Hello. I'm a resident of Upland for many years. Name keeps popping up, and I won't mention his name because it's been past 30 years that his name keeps popping up. One thing about Upland, we go through city managers, we go through now police chiefs. We've got to give these people a chance. That's number one. Number two, if you want to see, I was watching streaming, which is a little above because I'm not technically knowledgeable. When we had our first demonstration, you could tell that it was under good leadership because of when we had the demonstration and the way our police, it had to come from somewhere, so I believe it must have come from Chief Police Goodman. I've had an opportunity to meet him once or twice, not personally, but when a civil servant comes on, they have to look at the past, the present, and the future. And I believe that our chief was looking for the future because we all have to move on. And as a senior, when I first came to Upland, I wasn't a senior, so I've seen it all. But may I ask you, whatever you do, Upland doesn't need the reputation of going through. If I was an employer and I saw that there was somebody who was switching jobs, and you are the employer, I wouldn't really want to work for the city of Upland on that. So please, it takes at least 3 to 4 to 5 years to give someone a chance to work out what they have to. Again, when police chief came in, it was the past that he had to deal with, the present, and the future. And I believe he would be good for our future. I thank you very much. I have nothing negative to say about anyone at this time, but I hope you consider what is best for Upland. That is the most important. What is best for Upland, not for our own agendas. Thank you.
After Justin Cazzo is Gia Diane Smyers, followed by Jerry Fennan.
Give some net money to the nonprofits you guys are stealing. How about that?
If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you're a leader. Unfortunately, most of you fall short of that, especially you, Ms. Stone. Not Mayor Stone, but Ms. Stone. You're not leaders. Goodman is a leader. He's made this city better. Response times are lower. Our schools are safer. I kid you not, when I go to pick up my children from school, there's a police officer somewhere in the vicinity. Not because there's a problem, but just making sure everyone was safe. Our homeless situation has been better controlled. Yes, we have homeless, but we don't have homeless attacking people. We don't have homeless breaking into buildings, robbing. vandalizing. You know, all this stuff that happened before Chief Goodman took hold of the as the police department. Now this council has been known, especially you, Ms. Stone, for making some really dumb-ass decisions.
Yeah!
Selling off our fire department. There's one dumbass decision. Trying to sell Memorial Park. Another dumbass decision. Trying to raise our water rates, our taxes. All these things. And now you want to get rid of the best leader Upland has ever had.
Yeah!
Chief Goodman has done more in 1 week than your whole career.
Exactly.
And yes, Ms. Stone, I am looking directly at you because you are the only one sitting up there who has been here for more than 2 or 3 years. And honestly, I am so glad that your term is up this year because I guarantee you, no one will vote for you again. Now, for the rest of us, Chief Goodman is a leader in the truest sense. He has inspired the community. He's inspired the police. He has inspired everyone who he's come in contact with. His door has been open, a lesson you might learn from. Chief Goodman is the best thing, and he has had a spotless record for 30-some years. And then all of a sudden we have a problem? No, that doesn't sound like Chief Goodman. That sounds like your politics and your underhanded deeds reemerging. Only a dumbass would try and get rid of Chief Goodman. So the question is, are you a dumbass? By the way, the quote is from John Quincy Adams. Dumbasses.
Next hire is Jerry Fennett, followed by Tamatha Lawrence.
Good job, bro. Man, well said.
Good afternoon. My name is Diane Smyers. I am not only a resident of Upland, but I also work for a nonprofit here in Upland. I don't normally come and support or not support things. However, this is one cause that I adamantly support. Is Chief Goodman. He has done more for the city in the last 2 years as chief than any other chief has done in the history of Upland. I'll give you a couple of examples. One, he created the community impact team. I can tell you specifically that he has impacted the kids that I work with in foster care. How many chief of polices do you know that would come out to a youth event just to lend his support, say hi, and just interact on a one-on-one basis with our kids? That one interaction with our kids have changed lives forever. He has taken morale of the police department to an all-time high. I have never, and like many speakers before, they have all said that this is a sought-after agency now. So don't we want the best of the best? The best of the best is going to be Chief Goodman. The other thing is that we've seen lower response times, quicker response times. We've seen the community impact officers engaging with the community, and where our community is not fearful when they see a police officer, they are they're interacting on a one-on-one basis as human beings, not as hey, we're coming out to arrest you, we're coming out to do whatever that has been a part of the past. I can tell you that he is not only thinking about he's already dealt with the past, he's dealing with the present, but he's also dealing with the future because he's changing the way that the community and especially our kids look at law enforcement officers. Law enforcement officers are no longer, at least with the population I deal with, who are removed from their homes day in and day out because of neglect or abuse or what have you. They're removed by police officers who, our kids hated cops. Now because because Chief Goodman has shown up, unbeknownst to me, he would just pop into some of our youth events, as well as our community impact team, and interacted on a personal level, not as police officers, not as a police chief, but as a human being. So that has changed the story for our kids. Thank you.
After Jerry Simmons is Tanaka Lawrence, followed by Wayne Mackey.
Rosemary sucks too!
I don't see Jerry Fennig in here. I sent him a text message, but I don't see him
Go
here.
ahead, Ms. Lawrence.
Thank you. My name is Tiamatha Lawrence. I am here as an educator in Upland, a parent of Upland, a current resident of Upland, Ontario. Councilman Veltmo, please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Councilmember Elliott, Mayor Zuniga, Interim Attorneyman Steve Flower, City Manager Rosemary, and Mayor Stone. Thank you for your service to Upland. I know it takes more than just one person to make a city work, and I appreciate your service. As an educator in this district, I've noticed changes positively for my own kids and for my students, and I appreciate the work that you're doing. I do not know Mr. Officer Chiefman Goodman, but I know good things are happening. My students know to run, hide, and fight if there's ever an active shooter on campus. We know that, and I know that's come under your leadership, Mayor Stone. I appreciate you, Mayor Stone, for teaching the students of Upland what it looks like to have a council meeting. I appreciate all the council members. I appreciate all the good things that I've heard about Officer Chief Goodman today. And I hope that we can, as a city of gracious living, have peace, love in our community, and whatever is going on behind closed doors, I hope and I pray that all things work together for good. Thank you so much for your time.
After Wayne Mackey is Mike Nunez, followed by Janice Elliott.
Thank you to the City of Upland for allowing me to come here and speak. Thank you to the City of Upland for paying our taxes to provide a beautiful structure for our law enforcement. I look at the cars that they drive, and I'm very proud to see the vehicles they drive in. So thank you again to the city and those who pass laws and budgets for that purpose. Something about me. Married 28 years, my wife Rosemary Cardenas Mackey. I am Wayne Mackey. It is an Irish name. We were originally Finleys from Ireland. We were slaves. My mom, and as history goes through, I am Tohono O'odham. I am Native American. So I want to say that it comes with a very difficult climate and culture. I can tell you, almost every year of my life in work, I've been called nigger. I've experienced hardships, and 27 years in the Army, I retired as an Army veteran, Chief Warrant Officer. It's not that racism or discrimination doesn't exist. What happens is we need champions. A champion is someone that is, when you see someone that is disadvantaged or put in a predicament that is unpopular, that someone stands up and does something. Now, I've served with over 200 different denominations in the military as a leader. And I serve them all, whether they're Jehovah's Witness, LDS, JWs, as they chose to see. I go to Calvary Chapel. That's my doctrinal value, if you know it. What am I getting at? Why am I giving you this systematic concept of discrimination in my background? Is that I don't know Chief Goodman, but I know Upland PD. I moved here in '99, and Faith Acker, my neighbor, and all my neighbors came out with carrot cake, cold cut sandwiches, helped unload my vehicle. As a young staff sergeant, it was beautiful. It was the most beautiful community that I ever lived in. My neighbor across the street came to me and says, "Hey, you know I built my house." Yeah, the Norton Air Force Base or March Air Force Base, they were selling the wood back in, the 30s. They buy buildings and built that home for them. I had the blueprints of your house. If you ever want a copy, I'll let you look at it. And I looked at Randy and I'm like, man, that's okay, what a jerk. Just give me my copy. What does this mean? What I'm telling you is this. I know what racism looks like. I don't know Chief Goodman, but I can tell you this, it does not exist in Upland PD. I have had nothing but beautiful relationship with the PD, and I'm telling you, systematic discrimination does exist. Be accountable.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
Next is Mike Nunez, followed by Janice Elliott and David Wade.
Make sure you're not the one who are all that.
Good afternoon. Chief Goodman's only political crime was to come to the city and completely change this entire town and its police department for the better. Marty Thubino and Debbie Stone identified that, and they decided he was not going to be the man for them. It's a little bit hyperbolic reaction, right? But it also is kind of the hyperbolic reaction the city's having to Chief Goodman to whatever accusation you guys are giving him. I don't know what you guys are doing. I really don't understand. Just when the entire police department was changing for the better, morale was up, you decided to do this. I still don't understand, why is Marty Thubino roaming around these halls like he has an ID, like a city employee that is a paid city employee? I don't know, you tell me, ma'am. Is he a city employee? Is he paid? Is he still paid by the city except his pension? Does he have some sort of income that gives him the authority to walk in this hall, in that police station, and undermine our police chief? I'd like to know.
Me too. Resign, Debbie!
What are you shaking your head for, Rudy? Huh? You seem to be shaking your head. That's all I got.
Mr. Nunez, I can't answer questions, but I was saying he can't come in the halls.
It seems like he does. From the letter from his attorney, it seems like Marty Thubino still has the ring. But you know what? I'm glad we found that out today, because it tells me that you are a useless leader and you are incompetent, and tells me that Marty Thubino is still running you. And he's running the entire city. Also running all of you. Rosemary, I supported you 100%. I'm going to tell you something now, okay? If this is not your doing, you need to speak up. You need to speak up against anybody who's trying to harm our chief. Thank you.
After Janice Elliott is David Wade, followed by Vanessa Sharp.
Thank you, council members, mayor, and staff. I am Janice Elliott, and I have lived in Upland since 2001. I'm here at this lectern today speaking to you as a resident, exercising my First Amendment right to share my position. City Attorney Flower, please stop me if I am inadvertently violating the Brown Act, or if I speak on a topic that could expose us to litigation. As a resident, I am profoundly grateful for Chief Goodman's leadership. I feel much safer than I ever have before, knowing that he is our police chief. Chief Goodman cares about our safety, about our city, and is an effective leader, as evidenced by our reduction in crime and homelessness, and we trust him. Chief Goodman makes himself available and his staff available at community events. Through his leadership, his department provides transparency through their Twitter, Instagram, Nextdoor, and Facebook pages. During these turbulent times, his messages provide the direction and assurances that we need. I am grateful he's part of our community, and I hope to see him back in the saddle again. Thank you.
After David Wade is Vanessa Sharp.
Good afternoon, council. My name is David Wade. I'm a 40-plus year resident of Upland. And I came down to give reasons why I think Chief Goodman is one of the most valuable assets that Upland has. He's more valuable than you are by far, Eddie. By far. It's amazing. I don't have to give reasons. The reasons came in abundance of his value to this community. Let's talk about your value to this community, Debbie. Chief Goodman took over the homeless role of helping us with homeless after it was given by your vote to a buddy, Eric Gavin, of the old Cobble. Amazing stuff. I looked at Marty Thovenall, $1 Million Marty. If anybody wants to look up the Beck versus City of Upland case, you can find out how much Marty Thovenall has cost us, being the strong arm for mayors for years. And we're tired of it. You get your house and your property over here, you get permission to move a house, a historic house off, so you can put in an asphalt parking lot, and you are bitching about somebody else's performance, Debbie? You seem to have gotten exactly what you need out of this city every time you've needed it, and we haven't, Debbie. You paid Marty Thovenall $10,000 a month for a damn near no-show job. You gave Eric Gavin $3,500 a month. You are just replete with your bad decisions. And you are the last vestige of the Marty Thovenall and Pomirski era, in my opinion. I think you should resign today. I think you should just walk on out of here and fade away like I thought Marty had done, like his predecessor did. You are the one that is not valuable to Upland. You're costing us money. You're going to get us into litigation with your political values. You won't hire Brenda Serafay, who is more than competent for the Planning Commission because of your political agenda. Marty Thovenall is gone. At least that's what I thought until I saw this lawsuit today. $1 Million Marty and $1 Million Debbie Stone. Thank you very much, Debbie, for what you're going to cost us.
Next is Vanessa Sharp.
Jimmy, go back to work. Give them cake.
We don't have any additional speakers.
Nobody wants to follow that.
How about resign
Thank
now?
you very much, Carrie. Would you like to read the closed session item, please?
City Council recessed to closed session to discuss item 3 on the agenda. Closed session conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation.
All right, thank you very much.
Say marching! Say marching! Say marching!